Hello and welcome back to the Chart Show. This is our third Chart Show. I'm Joseph Gwynn. My dearest friend from first grade, Dennis Talbot, and I started this show for purposes we still don't know why, but we're having a hell of a good time doing it. This particular show is actually a three-part show, and what it is a review of the three most significant music festivals during our lifetime. We were born in 1965. We're not putting Altamont in there for obvious reasons. So the three shows are basically this. The Monterey Pop Festival in June of 1967. The Woodstock Festival.
Which we were two.
Well, I wasn't two yet. I was,
All right.
still not quite two.
Okay.
The Woodstock Festival in August of 1969.
4.
Yeah, almost 4. And then... actually, for the last one, you had actually just turned 20.
Yeah.
And I was still 19.
Yeah. I do remember that.
And that is the Live Aid Festival in 1985, which is the first show we would have had any reason to give a damn to listen to or watch, which we did. Got up all day and watched it.
Right. But we have enough, not only recorded musically wise on albums, there's video of Monterey and Woodstock.
The wonderful documentaries, yeah.
In which I have just recently, TMC ran a special and ran the 4-hour, actually the Monterey Pop, which was with Hendrix. Basically, it was all about Hendrix. It had a little bit of Otis, which I had an album when I was in high school of Otis one side and Jimi Hendrix Monterey. So I knew all of Hendrix's Monterey show. And also they ran a 4-hour director's cut of the Woodstock, which I've seen Woodstock, good Lord, a million times.
But this extra footage,
I have not watched the 4 hours. And I'm sure it's just a bunch of...
I'm about an hour into it.
Are you
on
so
DVR?
You the same deal? Okay.
Yeah.
And I do want to sit down. It's one of those things where I've seen it so many times, I'm going to have to just spend a day. I'm going to have to spend like a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning when I got some time just by myself, just to sit and listen to it by myself and kind of go through it. But I do love it. And so those two festivals themselves were something that we were not aware of as we were as a child, but aware of it as we got older.
Well, and actually, the most important reason that I chose to do these, that we chose to do these three shows, was because of the influence the music had after each festival.
True.
And what they reflected themselves about the time that they were performed.
Right.
We're actually going to do the shows in reverse order. We're going to start with the 1985 Live Aid Festival because, as Dennis and I said, we did actually watch that. Spent an entire day drinking and watching.
Yeah.
And
I actually have the DVDs on it. The 4. Did I loan you some of those?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, I have They came out with a box set here. It's been in the last maybe 10 years. It was called the Live Aid box set. It's 4 DVDs. A lot of it was there was very little. Well, I won't say very little, but more of the one in London than there was in America. And what's very interesting about the London performance was as you're watching it, you can tell sometimes the picture kind of vibrates, and it's because of the loudness of the concert and their cameras. It was actually causing because they're on a different, we are what 60 hertz or whatever it is. Their difference of the actual sound was bothering the TV portion of it. So there's some places where
I think it's 120/50 versus 110/60.
Right.
So
power. Whatever it was causing issues on the England side of it. And of course, and that performance at Live Aid from Queen was, basically the basis of the Bohemian Rhapsody movie.
Correct.
That was the pinnacle of the movie.
The last great performance of Queen.
Right.
With Freddie Mercury being alive.
Yeah.
And a
lot of great performances.
Both locations, London and Philadelphia, were stocked with a variety of people who were there, and we'll discuss that sort of at the end of the
And the one guy who played both concerts.
Phil Collins.
Yes. To Concord.
Absolutely. Yeah. The long gone, unfortunately, Concord. Nevertheless, so one of the things too is that like I said, we're choosing the week that these events took place to review the Billboard pop charts to get a taste of what people were listening to at that time, and after that, what influence did it have going forward? I will say this. I would say that probably more influence came out of Monterey Pop than the other two concerts, but all three were seminal moments in cultural history at that point. You know, Geldof had arranged the USA for the Africa famine thing, and we had USA for Africa, We Are the World. That was part of leading into the Live Aid and so forth. So all of these celebrity organizers kind of got forth with that. So in the what do they call the 80s? The decade of excess.
Right. But you got to look at it too, though. These were two different instances of music. I mean, Monterey Pop and Woodstock were basically peace festivals. They were just to show that we can be together as one and what have you.
And Live Aid was
actually
a cause.
One to raise money for a cause. You know,
right.
for the feeding Africa and feeding whatever. And
same way Farm Aid did a year later. Yeah.
Exactly. Which that continues on. So themselves, they were. Two of the festivals were similar. One was a little bit different, but like you said, during the known excess of the '80s
it was something
excess of the not access, but excess of the '80s.
People actually showed that was kind of a horseshit thing to say.
Right.
It was more of a media creation than what was actually in people's hearts.
And it was a reason for a lot of these people to, they're raising money, but it also was a huge concert thing. It was a huge, it was people to get on, to see themselves being out there. And then, I think, this was what, 1985? 85. So with the US Festival, was that
83 or 82? 82.
83. So actually US was before the live, but US again was another one of those festivals that was not really, it was but promoting technical and technology, because it was through not Steve Jobs but Wozniak.
Wozniak.
Yeah, Wozniak. He was the one that was kind of behind that, and it was kind of a technological festival. Plus, they had all these bands.
Well, and I remember we watched the clip of that a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
It was fantastic.
There's some great. They had and actually I went back and looked at it. It was done over two times. There was one over Labor Day weekend. Then there was either earlier or later. Don't quote me on that. But it had its good. It had its good and bad, but it was not a one to raise money, which was like the Live Aid. So
it was, yeah.
Anyway.
So
anyway.
Well, with that in mind, we're going to jump into the chart, and this is the chart ending July 13th, 1985. Which was, I believe, 6 or 7 days after your 20th birthday.
Yep, July 5th.
Oh, yeah. 8 days then, yeah. Damn, I did pass math. So,
yeah.
Anyway. All right, well, with that in mind, Dennis, I would ask that you kick it off, because when it comes to 80s music, you are far more in tune with what was happening than I was.
All right, so what we're doing now is number 40. Rick Springfield, State of the Heart. Now, it's not Affair of the Heart, but, it is a great song. State of the Heart was a decent staple, and one that I'm a big Rick Springfield fan, so there's no issue with me on this song. Joe?
Rick Springfield had been popular coming from Australia in about 1972, and so the man anybody to be cranking out hits 13 years later and a new sound, not just regurgitating the same sounds that he had in the 70s and so forth. Nice song. Did a really good job of that in that era, and probably still playing concerts somewhere right now after COVID-19. But number 39 is Don Henley, drummer, co-lead singer, co-leader of the Eagles, with not enough love in the world. You posed a good question earlier. Was this from the Boys of Summer album? Can't remember, but it was a good album.
Right.
And
Boys of Summer and also Sunset Grill. Sunset Grill is probably my favorite Don Henley song.
From his solo work, yeah.
This is a good song. Not my favorite Don Henley song. But,
agreed.
Henley, without the Eagles, did a good job. Him and Glenn Frey both had decent careers after the Eagles.
And then back again.
And so did
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
But those guys need to be together, should be together, because they put out great music when they're all together.
Right.
So,
and even though they hate Don Felder, he should be in there too.
And Don Felder should be too. I saw him by himself here, and he's a great. Actually, his Eagle stuff is just as good as the Eagles.
Oh, sure.
He has the right people behind him. But anyway.
Well, so the one thing, we want to take a quick pause here and let everybody know that in addition to posting the chart with the podcast, the founder of the Rockin' Pod exhibition in Nashville.
Yeah, Chris Czynszak. Which is he's a podcaster from way back, and I sent the first show to him and had him kind of review it, and he loved it. Said we needed to maybe run a Spotify list along with it.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah, right. And so him and Aaron Camaro run a thing called Decibel Geek, and Decibel Geek podcast has been around for ages. I mean, like I said, they are the people who have been in podcasting longer than any of us have ever been into. And
well, considering I've been doing it for a month and a half,
But no, Chris and Aaron, we've been dealing with them for about 4 or 5 years with the Rockin' Pod, and was looking forward to seeing them again in 2020. But of course, COVID put the kibosh on that. I know that the next Rockin' Pod is going to be even larger, and we'll bring that up not only on here but on Ages of Rock. We always promote it. It's a good place for people to get together and meet the people that you admire, and they'll talk to you and sign stuff and do everything. It's kind of like a Comic-Con for us aging rockers or what have you.
But
anyway,
or
Chris,
aging critics such as myself.
Right. But no, I appreciate Chris, and like
thank
I
you,
said,
Chris.
we will be doing some. I will be having and we are actually not only on YouTube, but it is on Spotify and all the other places that Ages of Rock are on. And there will be a companion. If you pull my name, Dennis Talbot, up on Spotify, there will be a playlist that has the chart from this week that we're doing. So you can listen along. If there's a song you don't recognize or remember, just listen to it and go from there.
And if you don't like it, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah,
because
you're done.
Now, one thing I would say is that, we spoke about this before we began the show. Chris, if you do indeed listen to this show, we would like to have you on sometime, and you choose a week in history that you would like to, a chart week in history, whether it's a rock chart or pop chart, whatever it may be, where you would enjoy discussing it. And there might even be some time in the future where any of you listening, both of you, if we throw it out there, we might give people a chance to occasionally send in a request and ask them to join in our podcast occasionally, just as we're going to our friends.
That's what we do.
But anyway, the next song.
Let's get into our grade school humor. Are you ready?
Yes. Summer of '69, number 38, Bryan Adams.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, she said 69. Yeah.
Change it, butthead. So,
anyway.
Yeah.
But what a great song. I mean, that song has been, and it's been one of those ones that, especially cover tunes any cover band has played this song. I'm guilty of it myself. What a great tune, and people always love to hear it.
You and Rock and Rod play that ever?
Oh, we have, and he plays it, I played it. Every cover band who has a cover band has played this song. And it's a great song, and people love to hear it. I mean, and it's a staple.
What's the 69 reference? Is that a year, or is that...
Actually, I heard him talk about it, and it's kind of a comical reference to a sexual position.
Oh.
So it is. But
I have no reference to this.
What else could it be?
The number before 70.
Yeah, but anyway, it is a great song, though. And it should be there.
Absolutely. Number 37 is a song that I absolutely love. The Mary Jane Girls in My House.
I had forgot about this song, to be honest. And
I had too, but you hear it again, it's like, these chicks are hot. They were associated with Rick James. I don't remember exactly how, whether he discovered them or they backed him up, or
gave him some coke and party with him.
Let's hope that. I'm sure they're good girls that never did anything like Rick James
right.
did.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yes, thank you, Dave Chappelle, for putting that in our mind the rest of our life.
No, it's one of those songs where as soon as I had kind of forgot about it, and then once I put it on, but it kind of reminds me of Morris Day and the Times. Kind of that. It's got that kind of.
It's kind of a slide groove thing.
Got a little groove to it, and it's and it's fun. It's a fun song.
And in the 80s, that wasn't that prevalent, unfortunately.
Right.
The
kind of
decade of the power anthem.
Party, but it's there.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we at next?
All right, so we got where are we at? Some Amy Grant. Find a Way.
Lovely lady.
There was a pause. There was kind of a
great voice.
Yes, I agree. Hot chick, married to Vince Gill.
Exactly. Married to a man whose stomach.
A crossover.
A crossover, yeah.
She's not cross dresser, but a crossover.
Right.
She's the crossover.
Married to a man whose stomach we can appreciate.
Yes.
And whose talent we can't even touch.
Yeah.
But
not a big fan of the song.
No, not at all.
I have actually saw Amy Grant in concert when her and Vince do the Christmas shows.
Oh, you and Kelly
went to the famous down in Nashville, down the Ryman.
At the old Lauper or the Ryman?
Yeah, the actual Ryman. Horrible seats for a 6'2" guy. You cannot sit in those seats. They're church pews, and you're sitting there with your knees up in your face. It's tight. It really sucks. But the sound there is just beautiful.
It is the cathedral. Yeah,
she's a beautiful lady, beautiful voice. Just don't care for the song.
Understand.
Yeah.
Number 35 is by an R&B artist of the 1980s, Freddie Jackson. "Rock Me Tonight for Old Time's Sake."
Yep.
As a huge fan of soul and R&B, I will give this the traditional meh. It's an okay song for the decade.
It's a leftover.
It's not even a leftover. It doesn't really.
To me, it sounds like a leftover. From
but again, my love of soul isn't your love of soul, so it's
true. But I just feel it's kind of a. I agree with you.
But it's again, it was an MTV staple during 1985.
I honestly don't even remember it.
You probably tuned out when it came to soul music on there, but.
Yeah. No, I was done at that point.
And the next song, on the other hand,
right.
I'm going to preface by saying that I only came to love this song when I watched it danced to in a movie that I absolutely love, High Fidelity, by Jack Black.
He does that little spin kind of
where he dances around the record store, annoys the shit out of everybody. But it's "Walking on Sunshine" by Katrina and the Waves. Fantastically fun. Never gave a damn before that, but I like it now.
It's not one of my favorite songs, but good Lord, you cannot listen to the song and not start tapping a foot or getting into it. I mean, it is a catchy ass tune.
Or dancing around like Jack Black.
Yeah, but that is pretty funny. I do remember that. He does this little. He got his arms tight, he spin move and everything else. And, of course, Jack Black.
Jack Black. That was a good movie without Jack Black. It was a great movie with him.
Exactly.
So
but this song was on the charts for a long time. It was a huge seller. It's another one of those ones. If you play it anywhere on a jukebox, people love it. Or weddings, or it's a staple song. It has became a staple song.
Hasn't quite replaced the chicken dance at weddings.
No, but it's it is. But it's a happy song. You cannot not smile when you hear the song.
It is.
So, Walking on Sunshine. All right, so Daryl Hall and John Oates, number 33 at Possession Obsession. I tell you what, I love Hall and Oates, but I'm
happy they made some money on this.
Couldn't remember it, honestly, and I had to listen to it, and I went, oh yeah, I remember it, but don't.
But I think this goes. I think this goes back to our now ongoing discussion in every show that, especially with the '80s, the producers really just kind of convinced artists to keep playing the same type of song over and over again. Even though these guys write their own material for the most part.
And some of these artists also had multiple careers, and we'll talk, Elton John, we'll talk Tina Turner, we'll talk Aretha Franklin. They had huge careers, died off, came back again, whatever.
Great point.
Hall & Oates, they were huge in the 70s, late 70s. I mean, they had some great hits. They had a few hits here in the 80s. They were one of those bands that kind of came back a little bit.
No, I mean they had that's actually reverse. They had Rich Girl, they had Sarah Smile.
I like the ones in the 70s.
I do too.
And that's just me.
But then they disappeared from like 1977 until the early mid 80s.
Right.
And then that Big Bam Boom or whatever the hell that shitty album was.
I just really didn't.
They made a lot of money in the 80s. Good for them.
But they have a better bluesy sounding.
They do.
They do than the pop. And they tried though. I mean, give them credit. They tried.
They made a lot of money because of it. Exactly. So good for them.
All right, 32.
Another member of the Eagles, Glenn Frey, and Smuggler's Blues. Was this from Miami Vice?
It was at that time. It had that. Yeah, it was.
Because remember, he did a lot of guest shots on there.
Yeah, it had that kind of Jan Hammer kind of that bullshit. And the thing was though, as a solo artist from the Eagles, I will put Don Henley above Glenn Frey.
Yeah,
I didn't like Glenn Frey's music. I mean, he had hits. Don't get me wrong, but my personal opinion, I like Don Henley's music better than I did Glenn Frey. And that's just Don Henley or Glenn Frey had some great tunes and some popular tunes. As
solo artist, because some of his Eagles songs were.
But Smuggler's Blues was okay.
Yeah,
it was.
But like I said,
what was that baseball song he had? Wasn't that him?
No,
or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think it was that fucking.
Okay, forget that. Delete that. Anyway,
Creedence Clearwater Revival asshole. But
that was you're right. John Fogerty.
Yeah, sorry, John.
Sorry,
but
I don't like that song either.
Anyway, the next song I'm going to leave to you because I have a very polarizing opinion of this group.
Well, What About Love, number 31 from Heart. Heart got into the power ballads at this point. They lost me. I mean, to this day, I still love Heart. I think Ann and Nancy are spectacular. I'll go see them in concert.
You have seen them in concert.
I have seen them in concert twice, I believe. I do like some of their 80s stuff was okay, but they got into the power ballad something hard, and I'd rather hear Magic Man, Barracuda, any of the earlier
Dog and Butterfly. Was that Stevie Nicks?
No, that's him.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But any of the early stuff, was it Take It Out or Check It Out? Take It Out. Anyway, I'm
not a huge fan of the group, but
I do love the earlier Heart, but once they got into the 80s, it was super duper power ballads, and it was just like, oh my god!
I'm happy they made money. That's all I can say is I'm happy they made money.
And she's got a great voice. Nancy plays guitar beautifully.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it. What they were doing, but at that point they kind of lost me. So,
yeah, I understand. Yeah. Number 30 is exactly what you were just saying about people who had two different careers.
Instead of saying 4 fried chickens.
4 fried chickens. Exactly. This This lady is no
two loaves of white toast.
Who are these crackers out here? Yeah. So this is Aretha Franklin, the absolute queen of soul, who
Yes.
once she moved from a jazz standard-based production team at Columbia Records, went to Atlantic Records, working with Jerry Wexler and Tom Dowd, and ultimately the Swampers down in Muscle Shoals. Absolutely stole the world with her voice. This song is Freeway of Love, 1985, so it's 18 years after she started to hit it big with Atlantic Records. This was an MTV song. That's all I can say. I mean, I love Aretha. I don't love this song, and so
No.
Next. So,
but does she sound great on it? Yes.
Yeah, but
it's
again,
one of those ones where, like I said, her, Tina Turner, they had a new lease on life. These people
they
were,
did, especially Tina Turner. But I mean,
right.
and you know, she had that song with George Michael. I knew
right.
you were waiting for me, or something like that. And
but no, and Aretha when
Pink
she
Cadillac,
sings, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's just unbelievable. You know, so
yeah.
she's just, and actually, Freeway of Love is a great song. It's a good song. You know,
it is. I mean, it's
not.
It was for the moment it was
yeah.
released. I mean, you know, it's
one of those ones. If it came on, I would not turn it off. I would have listened to it because you know what, I'm going to give her at least enough credit to listen to.
But would you listen to the next song for the 955,000th time?
Well, if you ever watch the movie Back to the Future, you're going to hear it probably at least 750 times.
Yes.
So anyway, Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
Could not escape these people.
You know what though? They wrote a ton of hits. They're all catchy as fuck. I mean, I love Huey Lewis. I think that there's not very many songs that I hear that I don't like. Of course, now is it TBS or one of those stations has been running basically Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 on a loop for like the last 2 months. It seems
probably
like.
TBS. I mean, after all, they got their start by running Andy Griffith's show, which I love dearly.
Right.
Every day.
But it seems like I catch that damn movie once every. It's almost like where Shawshank was getting to a point.
Exactly,
you know?
Yeah.
They're just running it constantly.
If it's not on
loop.
USA, it's on TBS.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can't stop. I can't not watch it when it's on. So,
right.
So Back to the Future, I've watched probably 15 times in the last 10 days.
Huh.
And that song, like I said, it is even in just little clips. It's on that damn movie all the time. But you cannot. I mean, you can't hate Huey Lewis and the News. I mean, they're a great band, and they deserve to be here. And I'm sure at this point, was it going on up or down? You think?
It was on the rise. It went from 35 to 29.
There you go.
That week, yeah.
All right. So anyway, 30, or we're gonna go to 28, which was Supertramp with Cannonball.
This is a fucking snoozer.
But
I can't stand Supertramp.
I love Supertramp. I got Back vs. America. Love that album. But this song here, I honestly had to listen to it to remember it, and
that was.
Not trying
and
to
if I never hear it again, I'll be good.
Yeah, not a good song. Yeah. All right.
The next one is also kind of in
that category.
Kind of in that category, but
comes from
another super group of the '60s, another influential group,
the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. By this point, of course, Brian Wilson was deep into being mismanaged by the brain control freak psychiatrist dude. So this was basically Michael.
Which is a great movie if you ever get to see it.
It is a great movie, yeah.
If you ever get to watch it with
John Cusack.
John Cusack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have that somewhere and I don't remember.
Fantastic movie.
It's a great movie.
But this song is called Get You Back, and you ain't gonna get you back if you play this fucker for her, I can assure you.
No, it's not an epic song whatsoever.
Yeah, the next song is all about mascara.
26.
26.
You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record baby. Spin me right round.
I mean, I like spinners.
Every time I hear this song, all I can think about is Adam Sandler and The Wedding Singer. Didn't they use that song a lot? In The
I
Wedding
can't
Singer?
remember.
It's one of those Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
They use that song
This is by Dead or Alive.
Yeah, and it's...
I would say that at this point, if you would talk about their career, I'm going to guess Dead.
Yeah. It's spinning. straight down.
Yes.
Right round, baby, right
Spinning
down.
around the toilet, getting ready to flush out to sea.
It depends on where you're at in the hemispheres. It could be clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever. If you're in Australia, it's counterclockwise.
Well, and hey, the first time I went to New Zealand, that's the first thing I did when I got in the room. I filled
Flush
up
the toilet.
I took both that and filled up the sink with water,
Right.
and then pulled the plunger just to watch it go the other way. So, fucking hell! I guess that teacher was actually right. Whoever that was told us, yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna go a little bit better.
Yeah, a lot better.
25. Little Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
This is another catchy song.
Love this song.
I really do too.
Tears for Fears, and they had a couple good hits. Of course, they were always associated with a John Hughes movie of some sort.
Right.
And I don't know. Was this actually? This one wasn't actually though. Was it?
I honestly don't know. But
Tears for Fears
as I said, if anybody that's listening, look for this song on YouTube, because there's a young man from northern Indiana, our home state, that played some sort of a stringed device, or I don't know, I can't remember what the hell it was, auto harp or something like that.
Right.
But it was fantastic. And then one of the guys, I can't remember which one.
Is that the one with the harp where he's hitting it with the kind of like a little drumsticks?
I can't remember. We'll have to check it out.
I think I know exactly what
Damn good,
about.
though.
And I think I've...
And then, like I said, he was surprised by one of the two guys. I think it was the
I got you. One of
the
singers.
skinnier guy.
Right.
Showed up and actually sang the song with him,
Right.
which was really cool.
But no, it's a great tune. Love to hear it. I like those guys.
Absolutely.
I wish once they got that, Sowing the Seeds of Love, I kind of fell out at that point. They got a little bit more overproduction.
Yeah.
But that first album was really good. So, good.
Next song, number 24.
Yep. Howard Jones. Things Can Only Get Better. Great tune. Love Howard Jones.
It was.
It's another 80s staple.
It's an 80s song.
It was a huge, MTV. It was in the replay hard at that point.
And that was actually the only way these assholes knew that they were popular, was because of how much they were on the rotation on MTV.
Right.
I don't know if Viacom owned them, but they, that was before the Real World and all the other things actually still had videos. But,
it was a heavy rotation song. And it's a good song. I like Howard Jones. Howard Jones has got some good stuff.
I'm ambivalent towards it, but I don't hate it. So, the next one is by a group that it's really hard to describe how boring these motherfuckers are.
They're called the Beaver Brown Band.
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. A song called Tough All Over, which even after I heard it, I didn't remember it. So
Same deal.
It must have been one of those ones that as soon as it came on the radio, I clicked that fucker over to something else.
If this was some kind of a game show, we'd be like on pass.
Yeah, exactly. I can name that tune in 600 years after I hear it. Yeah, exactly. But
all right, number 22, Depeche Mode. People Are People.
Yeah, people are people.
Pass.
Pass. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Listen to it if you like it. We don't.
Yeah.
The next one, can't say I like that song either.
Number 21.
El DeBarge singing Who's Holding Donna Now? I don't really give a shit, just as long as I don't have to hear this fucking song again.
So DeBarge, now, wasn't he the one that had some relation to Michael Jackson because he was in his first...
Well, it's a family group. DeBarge is a family group.
Right.
They're all siblings, yeah.
But didn't they have some association with Michael Jackson at one point?
I have no
idea. Or am I thinking the wrong one?
I don't know, but
I think I'm thinking the wrong deal. Anyway. Yeah, it's not a horrible song. It's just not, I don't know.
It's eh.
And I see Gordy. Is that a Berry Gordy?
Motown had Berry Gordy. One of the things that he did when he launched Motown was that he launched sub-labels under the Motown banner and assigned artists to the specific ones. Tamla, Gordy, Anna Records, named after her sister Anna.
Sure.
And then Motown, I think he also had that label. But yeah, that was part of his probably tax racket shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
all right, so number 20, Corey Hart with Never Surrender. I like Corey Hart. I really do. He wears his sunglasses at night.
Well,
I did get that right. didn't I?
I'll wear my earplugs at night when I hear this asshole.
I like Never Surrendered at all. This was another, like I said, another one of these huge MTV hits.
Well, you had that hair, you know, and that 80s
It was
hair.
a radio hit too. It was a huge radio hit.
Unlike you, who had a mullet in the,
Yes.
you had 80s hair too. But
I had the 80s hair. I had
you had the definitive 80s hair.
I fit in very well in the 80s. Yes.
Absolutely.
But no, I like this song. I'll give it a thumbs up. Your butt.
Oh goodness!
All right. As much as I am as a fan of this band, number 19, just as I am Air Supply. Whew, it's just like I want to be a fan so bad, but it's hard.
Well, I was never a fan, but my senior year in high school, girlfriend, nice lady that she is and remains. For her birthday, I took her to the concert at Mesker Music Theater.
You did?
Yeah, I couldn't stand them, but this was one of those things where she was a really good young woman at the time, and you do nice things for people you like. I'll tell you the name later because I don't want her to be scarred.
So you can't see this, but I'm like going, who is it?
Think red hair.
Oh, I know who that is.
Right.
Yes, I know who that is.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm sorry.
but yeah,
No, I'm sorry for her because she had
Well, I
to
do too. Yeah,
had to sit through Air Supply.
no, she loved them.
But at that point, though, they were at their peak.
They were, and this
Yeah.
was.
I would have liked to see that concert.
I wish I could have given you those tickets, and
I could have took her.
no, that wasn't going to happen. But Air Supply, especially Russell Hitchcock, has that voice that absolutely annoys the dog piss out of me, just like your buddy Geddy Lee and Dennis DeYoung.
You can't hate him. You can't hate him.
I can actually.
Right.
So,
But as being as big of a fan of Air Supply that I am, this is not one of their good songs.
No, it's
and
not.
It was forgettable, and we'll go on from here.
The next song was a power group.
Right. Power Station, which was part of Duran Duran.
Duran Duran, and who was that other asshole? Can't remember.
You would ask me that.
Well, I could look it up, but
I'm trying to think who it was.
I don't care enough.
Yeah, it was the guitar player from Duran Duran, and anyway, it was a remake. It was.
Well, this is
Get It On, Bang It Gone.
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the group from the glam rock group from the 1970s. Mark Bolan is lead singer.
No, late 60s.
No, it was 73.
73, okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
don't you know? What you know about 80s, I know about the
Right.
70s. So this is this is.
Yeah, it was an okay song, and it was
a great song in the 70s.
And it's a way for people in this era to hear a little bit of the classics brought back.
A little bit, yeah, and then that happened.
I don't think there was a big rush on T-Rex records at that point after this song.
Well, actually, but see, Mark Bolan died in the 1970s,
Right.
so his career.
Car
I mean, their career. I don't remember exactly
I
how.
think he got hit by a car. I think is what it was.
But either way, it was sad because he was very talented.
Right.
So, number 17 is another one that just.
Can I spend 10 minutes talking about this song?
Please.
No, it's a joke.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm done.
Skank Donna.
Okay.
For those of you who like to call her by her given name.
Madonna had her good songs for that time, and they weren't that bad. But Angel was not one of them, and that's what it was.
I
Number
agree.
17 is Angel. It was just another hit on that same album, and it was just, yeah. I do like some of the early Madonna songs, but just not.
Holiday. That's a fucking terrible song. Anyway.
Well, we're gonna go through some fucking shitters here in the next.
Oh, we really
we're
are.
just like
Yeah.
it's like canoeing up shit creek. we just hit the first log. Now we're going to the second one. Where we're going to go?
This is
16.
Number 16. Oh, this was kind of a weird. I don't
It's
give
a
a shit.
weird ass song.
Paul Hardcastle, a song
19.
called 19, the number 19, not like Hey 19.
It's kind of a work protest, kind of rapping, kind of, I don't know, put together song. I don't know. I'm sure it had its followers, its fans, but to me, it's just a complete. Oh, it shouldn't be on the charts.
Well, it isn't.
It is what it
almost
is.
a novelty song.
All right, so we passed that shit log.
Yeah.
Now we're going to 15.
Another log in the way.
We hit a we hit on a log that's got a little bit of a crackle.
Oh, yeah.
Voice.
Kim Carnes. Yeah, Kim Carnes. Crazy in the Night.
And barking at airplanes.
That's in parentheses, barking at airplanes.
Now
I've known some chicks that would bark at airplanes depending on how much you got them to drink, but but I can't say that. But if you like that song, more power to you. Yeah. We're going to the next song.
We're gonna go. Oh, so we're out of Shit Creek. We're back up into the clear territory now.
Yeah.
Another Tears for Fears at number 14.
Shout it.
I like this song. So fuck you. I like this song. So it's a good song. I mean, this is one of the better Tears for Fears songs. Huge MTV hit. Huge.
Yes, it was.
It was a huge radio hit also.
Yeah, you couldn't escape that motherfucker. That's
so it was a good song. So all right.
Now I'm going to let you do the next two. Not let you, but I'm going to ask you to do the next two because
I'll do.
This is right.
I'll happily do one of the two.
No, you do both of them.
Okay.
Because I'll take the next one after that.
All right. So number 13 is "Cinema Street" by Night Ranger. Night Ranger cannot do any wrong. I love Night Ranger. They are probably one of the most talented groups that come out of the 80s, and they still to this day, Jack Blades, all those guys, not only when they're not doing with Night Ranger, they're playing with Ringo Starr's All-Star Band.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes.
And I saw them last summer.
Jack Blades actually is the music director of Ringo Starr's.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So and when they go out and play, they absolutely just tear it up. Brad Gillis was the first guitar player to take over Randy Rhoads' position with Ozzy Osbourne after he got killed in that airplane crash. Finished out the tour and also recorded Just Say Ozzy, which was the live version of all the Black Sabbath songs. He's amazing. I've
never heard that, but that sounds fantastic.
He's an amazing guitar player. But everybody in that band is, Kerry Kegley. I hope I got that right. Of course, it's one of these odd people who is a singer, drummer, and Night Ranger was one of the first bands that had their drum set kind of kicked to the side, where Kerry could sing when he was playing.
As opposed to Don Henley.
Yeah, Henley. No, but Henley did, but he was always center of the thing. But no, it was kind of weird how they always did it. He was always side stage, sitting sideways, facing the, playing like this. But anyway, you can't see what I'm doing. But anyway, Night Ranger, to me, I love Night Ranger. There's not a bad song from them. I think, now don't quote me on this, I think this was after Sister Christian, but they were still cranking out the hits at this point. This was like 1985?
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So this would have been after that. But yeah, Night Ranger is one of
Sentimental Street is the song, in case we didn't mention the title.
And I mentioned that first. So. Number 12, another Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams was at this point where he was cranking out the hits. But I think, Summer of '69 was a great tune. Heaven is not. To me, this is when Bryan Adams finally realized that he can write a power ballad, and he's really good at it. And he continued writing them, and they were also getting, caught up in the movies at that point. He was writing songs for the movies, the Robin Hood,
yeah,
all this stuff. And
that actually was a halfway decent song, though.
Decent song, but of course it's a power ballad,
right?
So
and my opinion of power ballads is we've discussed low,
right? And the thing is, Bryan Adams' earlier albums, like Reckless and stuff like that, great rock tunes. He wrote some good rock tunes for a Canadian musician. But once he got in, Rush is Canadian. I love Canadian.
Great tunes for a Canadian musician.
Well, I shouldn't have said that.
But no, anyway, actually, you should have. That's fine.
But anyway, I love Bryan Adams. I just started, once he got to this Heaven and started doing all these power ballads, he kind of just fell to the wayside on me. Are they good? Are they bad tunes? No. Are they tunes I listen to all the time? No. Are they ones that I turn off? No. But I'll listen to them. But it's just, it is what it is. Yeah.
Number 11, Free, Set Them Free, or whatever the hell it is. Fantastic.
Love it.
Love this song by Sting. If you love somebody, set them free.
Sting is one of the three musicians who came out of the Police. Every one of them, Stewart Copeland and Andy Summers, all three of those musicians were incredible.
Right.
Copeland did a lot of soundtracks.
I saw that in the
He
past.
tracked a lot of stuff for musicals and stuff. Andy Summers, I don't know exactly what he did after the Police. I'm not sure he did a lot of stuff.
Collected royalty checks, maybe, I don't know.
Probably. But Sting, he was one of those people who went off on his own. And I honestly, I'm a huge Police fan, but I think I own all of Sting's solo stuff. Because it's just good stuff.
As we said, amongst your 400 albums and
right.
everything else here, yeah.
Well, actually, most of them are on CDs because I didn't really, because that was, once it got to the 90s, when he started getting really big, he started really getting into it in the 90s, late 80s, 90s.
Right.
Vinyl was kind of done by that point. The only thing you could have got to that point was actually through record clubs. But anyway, no, Sting, love his stuff, and this is a good song.
Number 10, on the other hand, is
I'm going to catch hell for this.
A song from the movie The Goonies by Madam Weird Color Hair herself, Cyndi Lauper. The Goonies are good enough, but this song sure as hell isn't. It blows. I mean, it's
Cyndi Lauper is wonderful. I love her. I love her voice. I love her stuff. I think the stuff she does now, she does a lot of acoustic. She does a lot of things that are off the cuff, not what she used to do, but doing it better. That whole squeaky kind of crap was all kind of it was kind of not a mirage, but it was a way of her to sell stuff. She's got a great voice, and she actually doesn't talk like that all the time.
No.
My thing you're going to catch me for is I've never seen the Goonies.
I don't care. It's
did
not.
I catch hell for that? I've seen pieces and parts. I've never sit down and watched the Goonies, and people are going, "Oh my God, you've never seen the Goonies?" Well, guess what? I figured you were going to give me shit for it.
No,
I've never seen it either. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of shit.
I'm not.
So I can't judge this song because I don't know what the movie's all about.
Oh, I can judge it. It sucks. It's.
But I do like Cyndi Lauper, so I'm going to give her a little bit of cred for being Cyndi Lauper. But
okay, well, let's go ahead and jump to number 9. Tell us about number 9.
So number 9, oh my God, you're going to make me do this?
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce Springsteen, Glory Days.
Oh.
Right. Bruce Springsteen has earned his place in rock and roll as a rocker, should be in the Hall of Fame, blah, 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 blah.
I'm sure he is.
Now, personally, do I like Bruce Springsteen? No. I don't like Bruce Springsteen. The only thing I ever liked from him was it 10th Avenue Freeze Out?
I like that, and Rosalita Come Out Tonight.
Yeah, the older stuff.
Yeah, like the early mid.
He made a really big comeback in the 80s.
Yeah, but
and with Glory Days, and then when he got Dancing in the Dark, he brought the girl from Friends up on stage.
Cox, yeah,
that was like he really pulled some out of the audience. That was.
Too bad she was wearing mom jeans in that video. Would have been
but
much better.
The whole point is man, I'm just not a Springsteen.
I'm not either.
Do I appreciate what he's done? Yes.
Well,
do I want to listen to his stuff? Depends on what it is.
And obviously, members of his band. Max, Max, what's his face? The band leader for
something Bird, Weinberg. Max
Weinberg. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it
when you had the
Conan, or was it
saxophone? Yeah, he was with Conan for a long time. But what's the saxophone player that
Clarence Clemens?
Clarence Clemens,
and most especially, for those of you who love his acting, and by the way, he got the gig with the Sopranos by his introduction of a group that I absolutely love, the Rascals from the 1960s. He got his gig in the Sopranos because of the dramatic and poetic way he introduced them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
And we're talking about Silvio from the Sopranos, little Steven Van Zandt.
Right.
Who was adopted because he's pure Italian, otherwise,
right.
From New Jersey. Lilyhammer is another series that he did, which is absolutely amazing.
Right.
He's just all around. He hosts Little Steven's Underground Garage on XM Radio, Channel 21.
Right.
Fantastic. Just a great guy. So, yeah, I mean, Bruce Springsteen brought us a lot of things, even if his 80s music just kind of...
Right.
Well, you know, and Little Steven didn't want to play for Sun City, if you remember.
Right. So. No, I think, like I said, Bruce Springsteen, like I said, he needs to get all the accolades that he should for what he's done, but I'm just not a fan of the 80s stuff.
No, well, and even what the hell...
And I've got a box set of his from the 70s, and it's great stuff. Great shit.
Well, and you know,
I don't listen to it every day.
He sold out Madison Square Garden like 195,000 weeks in a row.
Well, but it's because all the New York people.
I know. They had nothing better to do. So,
all right.
Number 8.
Number 8, Voices Carry Till Tuesday. Love that song. She actually worked on, and I do not know her song, or don't know her name.
Speaking of spinners.
Yeah, but she actually did a song with Rush.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
Well, that helped Rush.
Time Stands Still. She actually did some background vocals on Time Stands Still.
Was she Canadian?
I'm sure she was. Voices Carry is a great song. It's one of those songs in the 80s that's always on my, if I have an 80s set playlist of some sort, it's always one that goes on there, and when it comes on, I'll crank it up. I love this song. And it was a big MTV hit.
It was a huge MTV hit.
It was basically, you know, she was a play toy for somebody who was very rich, and he basically, you know, he wanted her to be seen, not heard, and that's just where this Voices Carry comes in too. And it's a good song. I like it. So,
yeah.
Want to go to number 7?
Yeah, let's go to number 7.
All right. Not my favorite song from Miss Houston, Whitney Houston's. You Give Good Love.
Actually, it's probably one of my favorite songs
really?
of hers.
I'm just not a big...
I've never been a huge fan of hers.
She's got a great voice, though.
I mean,
had a great voice.
Obviously, loved her cousin, Dionne Warwick. Right. Her mom, Sissy Houston, famous gospel singer, great voice, backup artist for other non-gospel artists. But, you know, this was the beginning of her connection to Clive Davis from Arista Records.
Right.
Clive Davis being the superstar of CBS Records in the 1970s, and somebody that his documentary on Netflix is definitely worth watching to show the influence that this guy had starting in the 1950s. But yeah, it's another 80s song, MTV heavy rotation.
Yeah.
But number 6 on the other hand is a song I think you like.
Yes, Paul Young. Every Time You Go Away, great song. I just, it's one of those ones that's been, it was a big radio hit. I think I've seen it in a couple movies. I'm sure it's been, you know, I'd have to look, you know, that up part of it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a great song. And I like Paul Young. Paul Young's got a great voice. It's a good ballad. Like it.
It's I'm ambivalent. That's my polite way of saying I don't have an 80s playlist.
Right. But it's a good song.
The number 5 song, on the other hand, Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart. Annie Lennox, one of the great voices of the 1980s.
Right.
The Eurythmics, Would I Lie to You? This was a fantastically fun song for me at that time. But yeah, I can't say that I listen to it a lot now, but if it does come on the radio, I wouldn't turn this one off.
It was one of those ones when it first came out that I wasn't a really big fan of the Eurythmics. It wasn't the fact that I didn't like it. It just wasn't on my radar. I appreciated it for being a tune that wasn't horrible to listen to, but just as being a favorite or something that I really want, you know, I was like, let's listen to some Eurythmics, you know. I wasn't that person.
Right.
Now, my wife, Kelly, loves these guys, and as I get older, I do appreciate it. I do like Annie Lennox herself, you know, past the Eurythmics. You know, Annie Lennox has done some great stuff. She does some great piano work with herself. You know, she'll do like some acoustic type shit with her and a piano, and she'll do some of these songs herself. You know, just kind of a cappella, or just by herself. And they're great tunes. And Annie Lennox is she is a she's a powerhouse musician, and I like her a lot. So it's one of those ones where at the time I didn't catch it, but afterwards I did.
Well, we're up to our top 4.
Right.
And I'm going to state that I would like you to do number 4, and I would like to do the next 2 for very specific reasons.
Okay. Number 4 was Survivor, which I love that band, but it's The Search Is Over. This is kind of almost the song that put them, they were over at this point. I mean, Survivor had some great tunes earlier on in the earlier 80s.
Were these the Eye of the Tiger assholes?
Yeah. Tiger, what's the other big song? God damn it. I can't think of the name of the song, but it's one of my favorite songs. But anyway.
So basically what you're saying is the name of the song should have been The Career Is Over.
This is our career is over and we're done. Is it a bad song? No. But it was just like their last gasps. You know, if you get a fish and it's been out of the water for a while, it's like, this is our last.
That's a good.
But yeah, it's not horrible, but it was. I would think this, and somebody proved me wrong, and I'm probably wrong. I've been wrong before, but I don't think they had very many hits after this. Survivor.
I'm sure they didn't.
Part at this point. I'm sure at number 4 it was on its way down at this point.
Well, actually, it had climbed 1 spot, but I'm
Really?
guessing it didn't go any higher.
Yeah, I'm probably
We'll
not.
have to check the next week, but I don't really care.
So anyway, yeah, that's number 4.
But number 3 is by a guy who his early stuff and his talent were amazing. This song was not.
Right.
Raspberry Beret by Prince. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. This is just a. This was Prince and the Revolution.
Right.
The revolution was over. So.
I was not a Prince fan when he first came out. I have over the years became a Prince fan. This song is it's okay. It's not one of my favorite Prince songs. I can do without it.
Yeah.
This is a radio tune, and that's all there is to it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't show his guitar playing. It doesn't really show his writing
Right.
skills. It's basically a radio tune. It's
It's
top
cash
40.
a check
It's
music.
It's cash a check music. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
But number 2, on the other hand, we're going to jump to number 2,
Okay.
is a song that defines how much the 80s music sucks for me. This song, Suck Studio by Phil fucking Collins. A man who brought us in the air tonight.
Don't make fun of us people who stutter, because I do stutter on this.
No, this is not a matter of fucking stuttering.
I did it to you, though.
This is a matter of like, what crack pipe did you grab onto when you decided this would be a fun song? And for everybody who, and by the way, this song was number 1 the previous week.
Right.
For anybody who ever liked this song, please go to your ENT, your old or whatever in the hell ologist, because your fucking ears are ruined. This song sucks so much.
Well,
Oh my God.
here's the thing. I'll give Phil Collins credit for this. Phil Collins figured out a recipe. And he took that recipe and he basically tweaked it a little bit here and there. But Phil Collins at this time... in his
Hey, the
career-
Unabomber had a fucking recipe.
I know. But Phil Collins had a recipe for hits. And Phil Collins knew how to write hits. Now, were they the best songs ever written? No. But Phil Collins stayed on the charts before this song and after this song for quite a while. He knew he was hot. And like I said, talking about Live Aid, he was the one person who was at both shows. They flew him on the Concorde.
He did.
From and he played with Led Zeppelin when he got here. And they said that he was, they actually called him out on it and said he wrecked their thing, knowing that Led Zeppelin wrecked their own show. They didn't need Phil Collins to fuck it up.
Yeah, well, he played drums,
drums,
and by that
but-
point, John Bonham had been dead for 5 years. But
Right. But it wasn't his fault that they bombed. It was just the fact that they didn't practice or do anything
Right.
beforehand.
so we're up to the number 1 song.
Yes. Oh. Ta-da! Dun, 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 dun. You want to say what it is?
No.
Okay. Number 1 was A View to a Kill, Duran Duran. Duran Duran.
This was the title song to the extremely mediocre Roger Moore View to a Kill James Bond movie.
Was this the last James or Roger Moore film?
No, I think Octopussy came after this. Or I don't. Well, man, no, maybe that was before.
I'd like to write a song for Octopussy.
8 arms and some cat.
8 old pussy. No.
Save the hedgehog.
But yeah, Duran Duran was a great band. Still is a great band. Had some great hits.
They are. They really are. But this was.
Was this a great song from Duran Duran?
No. Because this wasn't. This wasn't.
It was a paid
Tom
song.
Jones Thunderball.
No.
This wasn't Shirley Bassey Goldfinger.
They basically said, "Hey, we need a song, and it has to have a View to a Kill in it. Write it."
Yeah.
So they didn't have any kind of input.
They went to the local pub, got absolutely fucking tanked, and said, "Right, boys, let's go ahead and puke this motherfucker out."
Yeah, they puked it out.
And there you are. That's it. But as we always do at the end of every show, we go back and say, do we? Because as a quick reminder, as we will every show, we this show emanated from our online music blog on Facebook, 3,000 best songs that I've heard so far, that Dennis and I have. Each of us have one titled that, and you can too. But we go through the top 40 here and say, okay, are any of these songs something we would put on our top 40? And Dennis, I'll start with you.
All right. Looking through this, I would actually put number 25, Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. I love that. It's got that, I don't know, it's just kind of, and Never Surrender by Corey Hart. I like that song a lot too. Honorable mention would be probably Voices Carry or Sentimental Street. Sentimental Street's a great song, not my favorite.
You wouldn't put Summer of '69 on there?
No, and because it's got the burnout factor.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I just don't do that. I'm going to put on something that I really want to hear. Do I turn off Summer of '69 whenever I hear it? No. But would I rather hear something else? Yes. And thing is he's got Brian Adams has a lot better songs, rocking songs, better than that Summer of '69.
Great.
Now, what about you?
I would possibly concur with you on Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Right.
Not one other fucking song on this list.
Really?
This song I would flush. I mean, this list, other than maybe that song,
Right.
I would flush it straight down the septic sink. So,
All right.
Anyway, but folks, this is the first of our 3 charts for this show. The next one will be the Woodstock. But what we would like to do now, before we wrap up this show, is have a little bit of a round table, such as it is. There's only 2 of us, so it's half a round table, on what we think the influence of the Live Aid concert was at that time, and what came out of that moving forward that pushed music to a different kind of level, up or down.
For me, like I said, the biggest thing that came out of there was that Queen performance. I mean, like I said, it was the pinnacle of, and the start and ending point to Bohemian Rhapsody movie. That's what they based that whole movie on. It was a great performance. I know I was reading something about, I think it was Elton John played, and as soon as Freddie came back off the stage, Elton John went up to Freddie and said, "You bitch." Basically, you just done, you made it hard for everybody at this point. You're going to take over. American portion of it, I've seen, like I said, I've watched the things. I like Missing Persons was really good. Actually, and I think that was in the English part of it. There's not a whole lot. Priest was really good. Judas Priest, they had a fairly decent set. Like I said, I don't know which ones are which. I think it's more of the England part of it.
Well, let's kind of go through some of the
Spandau Ballet was really good. U2 was not very good. Missing Persons was really good. I like the Missing Persons set. But yeah, it set up, like I said, as far as the concert itself, it set up a way, and it brought way more money in than they expected it to bring in. I don't, to this day, I think it was, it's brought in, I forgot how many, we probably should look that up. Millions of dollars.
Significant amount of money.
And I really don't think at this point you're ever going to see anything like that again. It'd be hard to put that together.
Yeah, because
it's one of those things where it was just one of those. It just happened.
It was the moment.
Yeah, it was the moment, and
which is kind of like what we're getting into in our next two concerts, which we were extremely young for, but I think that probably had a more significant influence on music, or at least on culture.
Well, I mean, look at it this way: they tried the Woodstock in '85, '86, whatever it was, and then in the '90s they did it again.
The first time it was okay. The second time it was a riot.
Yeah, they turned it into a riot. And the last time they even tried to get it off the ground for the anniversary, it never even got off the ground. Yeah. And it's just because of the legality of stuff, the getting a venue or a place. It's all legality. Nobody's going to take on that, because if somebody got hurt, somebody got killed, they're going to be responsible. Woodstock was a different. Well, and the thing is, we live very, very short distance from not French Island, but what was the one down here they had back in late '69? There was a huge festival here.
I did not know that, actually.
We will talk about that in the next show, and I'll get a lot of things on there. But they had a huge. Santana was there, Cheech and Chong. It was a big. Shit. There was 100,000 people down here.
Wow, that was
between Illinois and Indiana. It was called the Ice Cream Festival or something. They made it some weird name, but they parked on They picked it up on 64. People were parking up there and walking down. It closed 64.
30 miles, yeah.
Yeah. So I will have more information on that.
So just a quick idea, and I do invite anybody to look up who the artists were that played both venues, starting in London at noon GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, for those of you who have no idea what that is.
Right.
Some of the groups included the Style Council, Paul Weller, fantastic artist. The organizer, the Boomtown Rats. So as Bob Geldof was the leader of that, and their most famous songs, "I Don't Like Mondays," "Adam Ant," "Spandau Ballet." Only one song from Elvis Costello, which is a fucking crime.
Right, I love Elvis Costello.
Sade, who might be one of my favorite 2 or 3 artists from the 1980s. Right. She did a song performed by a guy from here in Evansville, Indiana, called "Why Can't We Live Together?"
Cool.
Along with "Your Love Is Cream" and "Your Love Is King" and "Is It a Crime?" Sting and Phil Collins did a string of both of their hits. Howard Jones, Hide and Seek, Brian Ferry, with David Gilmour as the backing guitarist, which is fantastic. Paul Young, U2, as Dennis mentioned earlier, Dire Straits, Queen, fantastic performance they gave, which is just hard to duplicate. David Bowie, The Who played Elton John, Freddie Mercury, and Brian May, and closing out with Paul McCartney with David Bowie, Bob Geldof, Alison Moyet, and Pete Townsend singing "Let It Be," and then finally the Band-Aid group singing the song that kicked it off for everybody, "Do They Know It's Christmas?" So that was kind of the London side of it from the standpoint of the United States. From JFK Stadium, it started out at 8, almost 9 in the morning, and I do remember that. I don't know who the hell Bernard Watson is. I'd have to look it up here.
Right.
It just says he was the opening act of Live Aid. Okay, but then it kicked off after that into Joan Baez, the Hooters, the Four Tops, Billy Ocean, Black Sabbath. Of course, they played a little Iron Man and Paranoid, which is never a bad thing. Run DMC, Rick Springfield, State of the Heart was played at that concert. REO Shitwagon was there. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. The fantastic Judas Priest, Bryan Adams, the Beach Boys, George Thorogood, and the Delaware Destroyers. Who Do You Love with Bo Diddley at that concert. Simple Minds, The Pretenders, who I enjoy, Santana, Ashford and Simpson, with Teddy Pendergrass singing Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand, Skank Donna and the Thompson Twins, and Nile Rodgers, the fantastic Nile Rodgers of the group Chic. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, always a great group. Kenny Loggins, The Cars, Neil Young, The Power Station, Thompson Twins, Eric Clapton, Phil Collins, Led Zeppelin, and the forgettable concert they did, unfortunately.
Right.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, Duran Duran, Patti LaBelle, Hall & Oates, Mick Jagger, Bob Dylan, Keith Richards, and Ronnie Wood, and finally USA for Africa. The reason I went through all of this list on both of them, and this is the opinion I kind of have of this concert, is that it didn't really introduce the world to anybody new. It was people from the 60s and 70s to raise money. Yeah, because it was and that's kind of the 1980s in a nutshell. There wasn't really, aside from up and coming groups like Metallica and our boys from Indiana, these assholes.
Mellencamp.
No, Mellencamp, obviously no, but this that dickhead from Lafayette.
Oh, Summer. Henry Lee Summer?
No, not Henry. I like Henry. I know Henry personally. Good guy.
He's a crackhead.
No, that motherfucker. Axl Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Slash,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just, it was for me, it's a forgotten decade because of a lot of reasons, but this concert...
This concert was, like I said, it was nothing to put
money
peace
raiser
or anything else. It was to raise money. That's the whole
and they did,
thing.
and they did, and they did.
Good,
and they knew they had to have something special there. So that...
Right.
But that was kind of, other than, as Dennis mentioned, the rehash of a couple of the Woodstock concerts, which we're going to do next. It really was kind of the end of the big concert era.
Yeah.
Live, I mean, Farm Aid came up the next couple of years, and that...
Well, they've had Farm Aids through the years, and I don't think that they do nearly what they do. Like I said, the next Woodstock that they try to have turned out to be a fucking it was a mess.
Right.
The one, and then they tried to do it again for the anniversary, and can't even do an anniversary because of the legality. I mean, it's got to the point where it's just, they cannot... Nobody wants to take on that big of a promotion.
And now the cool things you go to, where you do have some really cool newer artists, Bonnaroo,
right.
Those assholes out in the desert, what do they call this?
Burning Man.
Yeah, Burning Man.
Whatever it is.
These things like that. So, the festivals do exist still, but just not with the same impact.
No.
Entertaining, but not with the same impact.
Right.
Anyway, that wraps up the first part of this show. Thank you all so much for hanging in there with us. The next two are going to be music songs that I personally love more, but this is always fun anytime I get a chance to discuss music with Dennis Raftery. Dennis Raftery. What's your name, dude? Dennis Talbot, yeah. I've only fucking known you 49 years. Yeah. I'm thinking Boomtown Rats.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thanks, and join us again in a few minutes.
See ya. Bye.